Hi, everybody. I'm Maxine. I am happy alcohol-free.
Hi, I'm Isabelle, and I'm happy as fuck.
And this is episode 17 of Happy AF Podcast. We're just like churning them out. As always, we like to get our little segment started with some liquid joy.
Absolutely. So this is my go-to everyday wine. You know, you have a go-to?
Yes.
That's it. So it's called, and by the way, another woman-owned. We don't even do on purpose.
No.
You and I don't go out looking for women-owned. They just do.
It's because women are leading this industry.
Remember we talked about badasses.
Badasses.
So this is called Saint Viviana. It's a Cabernet Sauvignon. They also have a Sauvignon Blanc, which is really good. And it's a good Sauvignon Blanc that's not like New Zealand grapefruity, because I don't like that.
No.
But this Cabernet Sauvignon is really delicious if you like oak, not like in-your-face oak, just enough oak. From California, woman-owned. I believe it's sustainable. Also, very low in sugar, which counts for me in the sense that I drink so much.
Yes.
That I'm like, I don't want to drink all this sugar.
The sugar.
Yeah.
No,
so this one, the sugar is 2 grams per cup. There's 4. So that means you have the equivalent of a fourth of a can of Coca-Cola. A fourth.
Well, and also it's really
bottle.
delicious. So do you remember on the last episode, I had said to you when I went into Nature's Market,
yes,
and Joey, who's their wine buyer,
it
was that
case.
wine he was talking
because
about.
I buy it by the case.
He was telling me about this one, and he was like, "Oh, Saint Viviana, of course, that's your co-host Isabelle's favorite." He was like, "When I look at my inventory, I'm like, ooh, Isabelle's due. I better buy some of that." So yes, you buy that by the case. And I have tasted this at your house before.
Yes. Oh, and I have a little segue on that.
And I'm actually going to move this.
Yeah, my
Roger,
buddy, Roger, baby, I love you so
Driving
much.
me crazy. Is you calling him Roger? What the plant is Roger? Okay.
It just like,
there we go. Look, now
like,
it's not bothering you.
So I have a thing about this I need to say.
About what? The plant or to plant or the wine?
No, Roger, never. Him and I, are you joking? Okay. We share chartreuse. So I was at my mom's house the other day, and a couple of our girlfriends, whom are delicious, they're in their mid-80s, and you'd think they're 65, and they're so delicious and cute, and I love them. Anyways, one of them, whom I love, she was like, let me sniff this, because she's not a big drinker. She's like, oh, it smells like wine. And then she's like, can I taste it? I was like, sure. And the thing is, children, even though it's non-alcoholic wine, unfortunately, you're going to lose something when they remove the alcohol. One day, they're going to figure a better process, but we're not there yet. So if you go in wanting that it tastes exactly like wine, you're not going to like it.
Correct.
Right?
It doesn't have the tannins. It doesn't have.
But she drank it. She's like, it's good, but it tastes like juice. Oh, bay tabarnak. When someone calls my AF wine juice,
you're like,
there is something that happens with me. It's like a mama bear, and I'm like, do I call your fucking kombucha juice, son of a bitch? Don't call my fucking AF. So people out there, if there's anyone here that listens, that still drinks, don't call your friend who doesn't drink non-alcoholic wine juice. It's highly offensive.
Yes. Oh,
this
I agree
is
with
from
that.
a privileged white bitch in Vermont. Do not call my AF wine juice.
Which is the also known as name of our podcast.
Right.
All right, let me taste this.
It smells like Cabernet Sauvignon, or damn close.
It does. Can I tell you specifically what it smells like?
Tell me,
It smells
please.
like a California cab.
And that's exactly what it is.
Oh, is it? It sounds like it's not from America. It's Saint Vivian. It's Saint
Viviana.
Saint Viviana. I think I told you this. I have a French family friend, staying with me. So I have a second son right now.
Yeah,
and he is French. I adore him. I don't want him to go back home. Hilariously, I said to him, "You have to meet my co-host for my podcast.
Right.
She's French Canadian,
and
you could speak French with her. And he's teaching me French, but and my daughter French, but he's learning English while he's here, and he's got way better English than I have French." To which I said to him, "You have so much better French than I have English," and he went, that is a good thing for me. Thank you. He's so funny and so dry
French.
and so witted.
That's
and
such
so
a French humor.
But as I said to him, I was like, you got to meet my friend Isabelle. She's from Canada, French Canada. And he went, yeah, they speak funny.
I know, little fucker. I knew he was going to say that. We'll glaze over that
But
one.
here's the other funny thing that he said to me when I was pouring a glass of wine the other night at dinner. And again, it's children and their honesty, which is, gosh, it's just the best thing. But I had this when I was in France too. I poured a glass of wine. And I don't know how we said something, or maybe my son said something, because my children are really proud that I don't drink.
Oh, good.
Like they love that. They're like, yeah, my mom doesn't drink alcohol. Like it's a real badge of honor for them. But Maxime, first of all, his name is Maxime.
Maxime. So close.
We have one different letter in our names. And I'm looking at my wine and I went, oh, it's sans alcohol. And he went, what?
So French. So French.
I mean, he did such a double take. And I was like, and then he did, also French people have facial expressions that are the greatest in the world.
Yes.
I mean, it is just, I'm a Francophile. But when he said, he went, huh? And then he went, as if to say, well, that's fucking crazy.
They have the best facial expression. They really do. They really do. They can't tell you to go fuck off without opening their mouth.
The other great thing about French people is all the sounds that are not words. They're not words.
Right.
Like this is oof, 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 la, oof.
Oh la
la. Like these are all not words, but they are words.
They are.
Because if you use the sound, the other person knows exactly
what you're saying.
Exactly what you're talking about.
And speaking of French, actually, I was going to say my dream or wet dream come true will be when they have a actual like non-alcoholic Bordeaux, and it is a wet dream being that it's alcohol.
It's coming.
But I do have.
Oh look, even I said something that was.
Oh, it's coming! It's coming! Look at you, all dirty and shit. I do.
Andrew is currently dying behind the screen.
I do have a bottle of French Bordeaux that's non-alcoholic. And it's from France. They don't sell it in the States anymore because people weren't buying it because I guess people didn't want to spend $50 on.
Yeah.
And I have it with me, but we decided it's too early.
Let's save that for landmark.
Yeah, but this is good.
First of all, so it smells jammy.
Yes.
Like that's how I would have described a California cap to begin with. Yep. Cheers. Sláinte.
Yeah.
Chin chin.
Chin chin.
I mean, it's just
it tastes
delightful.
Like a Cabernet Sauvignon from fucking California.
It does. And what that your mom's friend was saying is what it is missing is the thing
that's removed.
That is, but for me, I don't know if I want that astringency.
Not that, but what unfortunately. And I'm sure I'll get corrected by real experts, but I believe that when they remove the alcohol, alas, some of the polyphenols, like some aromas that are volatiles might leave with.
Yes.
But
for me, the burning.
Oh, that I don't miss.
That I mean, no, and that is, as I tell you, I continue to do it. I do it a lot less now. And you and I are very different on this subject, where I love to taste Andrew's wine just to see what it tastes like. And oh gosh, they opened something amazing at a dinner party recently. At Kilsadea Creek that we've had in the wine cellar for a long time. And it's a very special wine. And I was like, let me taste it. And same thing. You
didn't like it?
No, I spit it out. Because I really was like, okay, I fully dislike.
So stop tasting it.
I know, but I do it much less frequently now.
Because with more frequency,
it tickles me. It tickles me.
Okay.
I love that I hate the taste of it.
Okay.
And
I'm just concerned. I know for me, the first one would taste like shit. The second one would taste okay. The third one, I'd have the whole bottle.
I put enough of it in my mouth to swish around to see what it feels like.
Right.
And do I still hate the feeling
of the
that
alcohol.
it gives inside my body when I swallow it? How my throat goes eek.
Yeah, your body probably rejects it.
When I was drinking, I couldn't drink straight liquor. Like I couldn't drink.
Like
I have
cognac?
a friend who drinks cognac. Couldn't drink cognac.
Okay.
Couldn't drink. Everyone's like, "What? You're Irish? You don't drink whiskey? Can't drink whiskey."
Right.
The burning. I'm a singer, so the feeling that you are possibly eroding my vocal cords while I'm drinking this beverage. I have friends who would drink extra dry martini.
Uh-huh.
And I would taste a little bit of it and I'm like, okay, I feel like there's something eroding in my body if I put
So
I could never drink hard stuff.
right.
So now that is what it feels like when I drink wine.
Understood. So see, unlike you with the hearts, although I was a wino, complete wino, and the reason why I focused on wine is because I remember once, been to France more than once, but one of the time, a girlfriend and I, this was when I was single, started drinking cognac after dinner the whole time we're there, right? One glass of cognac.
Yes.
So then on my way back home, I was like, I get a bottle of cognac, nice cognac, brought it back. I was living in Harlem at the time. And in 2 weeks, I polished a fucking bottle because every night I'd come home from having drank with my friends. And then I went to Scotland and the same thing happened. Started drinking a little scotch
after.
And next thing I know, I polished a whole bottle of scotch in 1 week by myself. So I build a tolerance and I build a wine habit very quickly.
And I see this in very many aspects of my life, in things that I'm trying to improve on, like tennis or golf. And you think in the moment you're creating a ritual, and it can be good or bad, right? That's how our brains work.
Right.
And so if you're introducing this repeated behavior, like a nightcap,
which is addictive.
Which on top of it, it's addictive.
Correct.
But you're doing it, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh my God, this is now second nature to me.
Correct.
But you didn't realize it was getting second nature, and now, oh my God, you don't know what to do except have that cognac or that scotch after dinner.
And then you add to it that you're actually doing that repetition with something that's highly addictive.
Yeah.
So a lot of us, not all of us, some of us might be not completely immune because we're all humans, but some people, it's like cigarettes. Some people take to it, some people don't, right? But if I wager, and I'm not sure, that even with cigarettes, let's say someone tries cigarettes, they hate it. If you made them smoke it every single day by force, eventually they'll get hooked up to nicotine.
There's no question.
Right? I think, but some people it happens faster than others. And I think that's what it is with alcohol. I happen to be one of those that it happens fast.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I couldn't taste. So that's why, like, if I were, because I tried that, I would quit for 3 months. It's happened once, twice.
Yeah.
And then I would be like, oh, I'll just have a glass, and one glass turned into a bottle within 3 days, right? So,
no, I'm not saying I drink a glass of it. I'm saying I would take a tiny sip just to see how it feels. And I would say it's like a reaffirmation. Every time I take a sip, I'm like, oh. Your body laughs at me. He's like, I just can't believe it.
Your body's rejecting it.
I hate the taste of this.
Your body's rejecting it.
How did this happen to me?
Yeah, your body.
How did the person, if you remember our very first episode, because I was looking back as we were doing a 6-month recap, I was looking back on the stats and the data for the different episodes. And of course, the first one was widely watched because it was the very first one we did. And but I remember there was a clip from that episode that is so true to this day, is that if you had told Maxine 2 years ago that you were going to live a life without red Burgundy wine, I would have said to you, nope, you're talking about the wrong person, because I can't live without that.
Right.
I can live without a lot of things, but I can't live without that. That is ritualistic. It is part of me. It is something that I have adored, that I have loved since my early 20s. And I have a passion and a relationship with this particular beverage.
We sell ourselves
and
stuff,
here I am.
Yeah.
Here I am.
But it's funny you'd say that, because as much as I don't want to drink at all, it would, and I don't see a situation in which I would want to drink. Then my dad passed away, I didn't want to drink. If I sit there and imagine the rest of my life without alcohol, like not drinking ever again, it feels weird.
Yes.
Like I don't know how to explain it. It's like, it feels weird because I think I'm still sold, but I'm not going to drink ever again. It's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I don't know how to explain it.
I get that.
The imagery, I think we're still sold stuff that is so ingrained in our subconscious.
Which is an amazing unplanned segue into what this episode is supposed to be about.
Segue.
Because we want to talk about, this is called It's Not Just You. It's not just you. It's not just us. The world is changing, right? And that is why I, this podcast is something you and I do when our schedules allow on the side of our very, very full lives and careers. But one of the things that keeps me really committed to this is that the world is changing now. And when I look forward, I know how different the world is going to be
Right.
in
Sorry.
5, 10, 15, 20 years from now. And I love that we're having these conversations now while this evolution is happening at a really fast pace. And there's a constant debate on in the news and on social media at the moment about the generations
Right.
of us and how we all related to alcohol. Like I look at my parents were boomers, right? So born in the 40s, had their high years in the 60s and 70s, and alcohol was not only a foundational part of their lives and society, but it was so glamorized.
Yes.
It was, and we talked about the advertising around cigarettes in this way. It makes you sexy. It makes you chic. It makes you fun. It makes you
liberated.
Liberated, especially
Yes.
for women.
Yes.
And the damn male patriarchy who ran and run advertising. It was all geared toward make the women believe they are sexy and free by
Correct.
smoking and drinking.
Correct.
Our parents' generation were very much a part of that. Our generation as Gen Xers, I mean, we were just party animals. I mean, I think like coming of age in the 90s.
We're 80s and 90s.
80s and 90s.
That's what we're, and first of all, we were a generation of absentee parents, all of us.
Yes.
I mean, I remember going to our lake house on a weekend. I was 16 years old, and we were all left to our own accord all weekend in our little chalets. Our parents were in the city, and we were partying it up. And then the early 90s was like grunge era. So it was badassery to drug and drink.
Okay, so let me tell you yet another amazing thing that is so different for us. Yes, that Gen Xers, and I didn't know what the term latchkey
yes
was.
Yes.
In fact, for a long time, I thought people were saying a different word altogether.
Got it.
I was like, what are they saying? What is this latchkey?
Right.
What is latchkey?
Because your parents weren't home.
But it's latchkey, like you have a latch, the latch is open, or you have a key.
So I don't know, because I didn't grow up in English, but I know that for us, and I'm assuming that's what they're referring to.
Yes.
Your parents would not be home, and you went home from school either to an empty house or for lunch an empty house. So you had a key on your neck, and you would, go home by yourself at a very young age, like 8, 9 years old.
Not me, though.
Right. Got it.
No. Let me just tell you about the extreme protective, possessive environment in which I grew up in.
Got it.
I mean, I was never out of the sight of an adult ever.
Okay.
I went to a Catholic convent boarding school, so I was watched by nuns. And then when I was home, I was watched by a very, very overly protective father. No, not my mother. Father. Who adored me, but like literally would have liked me to be chained to something so that I couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
Because he never wanted me to be hurt. He never wanted anybody to date me. So I never had any freedom until, if you remember the story, when I went to Portugal to Praia de Rocha in the Algarve and got drunk and sexually assaulted.
Oh
on my
God.
first moment of freedom. So, but the Gen Xers, I know that's a big part of life. And I have friends from different parts of the world, from Australia who had that experience, from America who've had that experience. And I understand it, but it wasn't part of my personal experience.
Right.
But now we're all, the big conversation now is around millennials and Gen Zers.
Yes.
And their relationship to alcohol. And I hear this, it's the extremism that goes with every argument. And I was just talking about this in in general in how we are today. Why does everything have to be so fucking black and white?
I have no idea. I'm all about gray.
Where there's gray area
All
everywhere.
over.
And I was having this really annoying exchange with someone who were quoting a rule book, right? And I was like,
a rule
book, right?
Got
A
it.
rule book.
Yeah.
And I am a rule follower.
I'm a rule breaker.
I am. See, we have all this yin and yang, is why I love us. But yes, there are rules, but there has to be flexibility, right? There can't be rigidity. That is why I think the politics of this country and many countries are in the shitter right now. It's because it's left or right.
Yes.
There's no room for the area in the middle.
Intelligent people see nuance.
Yes.
Dumbasses need to be told like every
see nuance. But so this article, these articles that I'm always reading things in the New Yorker and New York Times, the Atlantic about alcohol. And I don't know if this has happened to you, but since I stopped drinking, so many people text me links to articles about,
which is so sweet.
It's so sweet. And I try to put them in my little weekend reading folder. I try to read all of them because I love all of these different takes. But then if you say anything about it and someone's like, oh, well, that's total bullshit. Gen Zers Gen Zers and millennials aren't drinking less. They just don't talk about it. Or there's always somebody willing to take down
a contrarian,
a contrarian. But the fact of the matter is, and a lot of these articles that I've been reading recently about the world shift, the global shift, the societal shift is pinned to millennials and Gen Zers because of how they perceive alcohol. So we're not saying that they don't drink.
They drink less.
They drink less, but they also don't put it at the epicenter
of their lives.
Apparently, or they're socializing.
Apparently, it's their I was told, or I read, or whatever, that they look at it as their parents' drugs.
Yes.
But let me ask you. So I not having done a research on it, I think it's quite apparent that millennials and Gen Zs drink less. I mean, I know a handful of them without even trying, right?
Yes.
But do you think they drug more with the whole weed business?
Certainly, that's what a lot of the contrarians will say to me. It's like, they've just replaced it with weed. They've just replaced it. I mean, I don't know. I haven't gone into in-depth studies. And I like to focus on the positive things that are causing change.
Sure.
And there is an undeniable difference in how these next generations perceive wellness.
Right.
That we were not prioritizing.
No.
I wasn't thinking about my well-being.
No, we wanted to be skinny. Right?
Yes.
As skinny as possible.
Yes.
We were jamming aspartame down our fucking throats like madness.
Yes.
I remember spending the late 80s bloated because I was drinking so much diet shit.
Yes.
Ugh, and smoking cigarettes and drinking booze. And we were so unhealthy, but we didn't know better, right? These were the years that fat-free was the way to go. Now we know it's a crock of shit.
Yes.
And eating a ton of carb, right? Proteins were like evil. Oh my God, we were so unhealthy.
Oh my gosh.
So
I have a
unhealthy.
hilarious story speaking about extremes. I wonder if I don't think did I ever tell you my Atkins diet story?
No.
Yeah. So buckle up. It's a good one. So you and I have very different bodies
types.
and we've had very different experiences with weight. My weight has yo-yoed my whole life. And it's funny because I do want to talk about weight loss drugs in a minute. But they weren't around, obviously.
No.
And they're very new to society and they are also having a big impact on alcohol. But what you just said, like we just wanted to be skinny, right? I mean, we came of age in the world of what did they call them?
Supermodels.
No, not even supermodels.
No.
The Kate Mosses. What were they called?
Yes. Oh my God.
The heroin chic.
Yes.
Right? Where you looked at those people and you were like,
So
oh my God, I must
skinny.
not eat food in order for me to look like that.
Ally McBeal, remember that show? They were all anorexic, and these were our go-to images.
Yes, and if you watched Friends, which by the way, my children are now watching with me.
They're so skinny.
But not at the beginning.
No, but at the end they are.
As you watch each season go by, they got thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner. So anyway, I'm someone who has always been, how do I get thinner?
Right.
Throughout my life. Thank goodness I don't live in that space anymore. My weight, and I've said this on the podcast many times,
Yeah.
my weight stabilized when I quit drinking to a place where I just am happy. I'm
Sure.
completely fine with it, which is brand new.
So nice.
Brand new. As someone who is bulimic, as someone who has done all of these things to try and keep myself skinny or get myself skinny.
Yeah.
And I have pictures of me at the height of my skinniness, which was when I was on the Atkins diet.
Oh my God.
So the Atkins diet, for people who are watching who may not know about that, was, I guess it was the original keto diet.
Basically,
right?
yes.
So basically it was 0 sugar, 0 carbohydrate.
Right.
But all the fucking fat you wanted.
And protein.
All the
correct.
fat, all the protein. And this was during my Sex and the City years in the early 2000s in New York.
Yeah.
I was an executive in a firm. I was making more money than I knew what to do with. I would take myself on Friday evening to Manola Blahnik
Oh
in
my
New York
Lord.
City and buy myself 2 pairs of shoes.
Oh my God.
And take clients out to dinner and buy $300 bottles of Chateauneuf de Pop and not flinch, right? And all I cared about was I needed to stay this skinny.
Thin. Yeah.
And I stayed that skinny by only eating steak.
Were you allowed to drink on that though?
Oh, absolutely.
Of course you could.
I would have these client dinners where I would take them to Del Frisco's,
Yes.
the steakhouse in New York
course.
City, which I later, by the way, when I went back to acting, ended up working in that restaurant
funny.
as a waiter. I would take the clients and we would spend $1,500
Just
on
on
lunch
booze. Yeah.
of just having wine and steak. Wine and
Oh my
steak.
God.
And all of the side dishes, I would be like, no, thank you. I don't eat carbs. And here's me thinking,
Oh
look,
my
I'm
God.
so healthy because I'm eating a fucking ribeye for lunch, drinking a bottle of wine, but not having, I would allow myself berries.
Yes, I remember
because
that
you
they
could
were
eat
the
berries.
only ones.
They were the only thing you could eat.
They had the French version of that my mom did for a very short time just to lose like a few pounds, right? And the man was called Montignac. He's a Frenchman. And I remember my cousins were calling it Montmagnac, which means my maniac. Because
Hilarious.
they hated that. They thought it was ridiculous. Like they thought going on a diet was stupid. You know, so that's funny.
But it's the same.
Yes.
It's the same. So
But
it's
we
the
were
same idea.
all obsessed. Like, to be honest with you, I think the thinness and the drinking in the 80s and the 90s was like an obsession. Like, we had to be skinny and we had to look like, I don't know about you, but for my group, we had to live hard. Like that rock and roll life. That's what we had to look like, fucking demolishing ourselves. That's what we had to look like.
So, and that's, I mean, this is what I'm talking about.
Right.
So my Atkins story and how one of these episodes of extreme wanting to get even thinner, and actually, it happened. I was supposed to be going back to London the next day, and so the headquarters of the firm I worked for was in London. And I was at Del Frisco's having dinner, eating maybe my second ribeye for the day.
Oh my God. Weren't you not constipated like crazy?
Wait until you hear. So in the middle of the night, I wake up and I have what feels like a dagger being stabbed into my abdomen.
Oh,
and
dear
I'm like,
God.
oh my gosh, I feel so bad. And I was like, I don't know what to do. And I ended up going to hospital
Oh, Jesus.
because I thought I was having appendicitis. And I thought I had, like this was,
painful.
I couldn't stand up straight.
Oh my God.
Like I was hunched over to relieve the pain. I couldn't stand erect.
That sounds like appendicitis.
So that's what it was.
Yeah.
And I had looked it up and I was like, oh my God, get thee to a hospital. So I go to the hospital and they're like, okay, rushing me into the emergency room. They think I'm going to have a burst appendix. I am texting, sending messages to London saying, I don't think I can come tomorrow. So we got to cancel my flight, doing all of this. We go in, the guy's like, okay, we're going to do a quick x-ray. We're going to see, blah, blah, blah. I'm in the room in the hospital. I remember it was the Lenox Hill Hospital on the Upper East Side.
Where that is, yeah.
And the doctor comes into me and he comes into the room and he's got this weird fucking look on his face. And I'm like, okay, I'm by myself.
Oh,
You know,
no.
I'm new to New York.
Sure.
So, and he goes, I have a question. And he puts this sheet, the X-ray up on the lighted wall, like fucking ER, like the TV
Right.
show. And he's like, and he's pointing at it. I don't know what I'm looking at.
You're
I'm
like,
a
what is
fucking
this?
lawyer.
My
What are you doing?
ass? My feet?
No, I can see that it's my spine.
joking.
So I could at least see what part of my
Right.
body it was. But, you know, it's my torso.
Right.
And he looks at me and then he's looking at me and he was like, I have a question. I'm like, yes. And he went, when is the last time you pooped?
You were all backed up from all the protein and no fiber.
And I was like, what? And he was like, when was the last time you go to the bathroom?
Right.
And I was like, I don't know. And then he takes like his little pen out of his pocket and he's pointing to what looked like, I don't know, this is getting too gross
I know
and
in
graphic.
French it's a ficanon, it's a shit plug.
There
Yes.
was so much
Shit.
backed up, like along my intestine.
Ouch.
And he was like, your body is in a real state of shock right now. He's like, you don't have appendicitis, young woman.
Oh God.
And he was like, and he was angry. Like, because he
you
clearly
did it to
knew
yourself.
that I did this to
Right.
myself. And he had probably, I'm sure I wasn't the first
No.
woman on Atkins diet that came in with like a backed up digestive system. And he was like, okay, so I'm going to give you this drink. And he was like, it might make you sick, but you have to drink it. You will stay in this
It's the same
hospital
stuff.
until you drink this whole thing. And he was like, we will keep you in here until all of that has been passed. And then you can go home. And he was like, I want to talk to you. What do you eat? And of course, I'm
Right.
you know, like sheepishly telling him, well, I mean, today I had probably 48 ounces of
Steak.
beef. Definitely,
he
definitely
probably-
had a bottle of red wine.
He gave you
And-
the stuff for colonoscopy, probably.
I don't
Like
know
the
what
prep.
it was, but it was so disgusting.
gross,
And
yes.
then, you know, we won't get into what
Yeah.
happened to the rest of it. But this was my extreme
Oh,
desire
my
to
God.
be. So I never, ever went back on the Atkins diet after that.
How long were you backed up for?
Oh, he had suggested possibly weeks.
Did you not notice you weren't going to
I
the
mean,
loo?
I
You
was
didn't
so happy
care.
and
Yeah,
skinny.
yeah, right. No, I know what you
was-
mean. I get it.
But so to go back to our idea of how millennials and Gen Zers, and my children are alphas, I guess.
Is that a thing?
Yeah, that's going back to the top of the alphabet.
Oh shit! Look at us. Okay.
Rebecca might not be. She might be on the tail end of a Gen Zer.
Okay.
But I see their exposure to it, and there's definitely that stuff creeping back in of the skinniness, which
Really?
makes me very, very nervous. But certainly millennials and Gen Zers are, the point of this world change is that they are looking at wellness as a whole body thing. These are
Right.
terms we didn't even have.
No.
You know, it's what you look like. We weren't prioritizing how we felt
No.
and how we slept. That's another
Nobody
big
cared
thing.
about us.
That the change in people's awareness of sleep and sleep patterns and the importance of sleep, we didn't know. Burning the midnight oil was, again, another thing that made you rock
Oh, it
and
was a
roll cool.
Badge of honor.
Yes.
Are you kidding me?
Yes. Yes.
Absolutely.
So I think that shift in our perception as humans is having a big, big impact on the alcohol piece of our experience.
Right.
But we got to talk about, since it segues in so beautifully from my hospitalized Atkins experience, is the whole weight loss drug thing, which blows my mind. I've been asked a couple of times because I lost, when I quit drinking, within probably 6 to 9 months, I lost about 15 pounds.
Oh wow.
Of alcohol weight.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
Yeah.
basically
That's
what it
all
was.
it
And it
is.
wasn't just alcohol weight. It was a combination of alcohol weight and binge hangover eating.
Right.
Because that was the big thing for me. Hungover, give me all the carbs.
Right.
Give me all the greasy food. Give me a massive lunch with wine and dinner. So for me, it wasn't necessarily just alcohol calories. It was how I was consuming food with alcohol, which has completely changed.
Right.
So I very quickly lost 15 plus pounds.
Wow, that's great.
And a lot of people were have now who may not have seen me are like, oh my God, have you totally done the whole
The
weight loss drug thing? And I was like, look, I haven't, but everybody I meet now is like, oh yeah, I'm taking it. Oh, I'm taking it. I didn't know until recently that, and I did read some studies about this, the impact of the weight loss drugs on people's desire to drink is being studied now, and there is definitely links.
not just drink. The people quit quit smoking. They quit drugging. So it has an impact on your brain.
Yes.
And that shows us if, there's some, like I think, I've never been in the AA, but I think part of their mantra, it might be, it's not that they responsibilize the person, but like the people we would be allergic to it. It's like a little bit our issues, right?
Yes,
The addiction to
yes.
alcohol. Well, this reaction to those weight loss drugs showed that no, this is a very addictive substance that does something to our brain, because these drugs act on our brains, and now we don't have that need for drinking or smoking.
Yes.
Or,
and it's all connected to the dopamine,
Right.
and all of that.
Correct.
And again, if I need to say it once, I'll say it a million times. We are not therapists. We're not doctors. We're not, but there's so much information
Yes.
out there on all of this that is really worth reading.
But like when I read on that stuff from people's experience, it's very, very new, right? Like this is a new field of
Yes.
research. But what they were finding is that the people that took those GLP-1 drugs to quit an addiction, those that were successful after quitting the drug had done what they call the work, right? The people that did not do the work, meaning awareness around why do I drink, the awareness like we
Okay,
did
yes.
earlier about like this is a social brainwashing that we're all subjected to. The people that didn't do any of that, they just took the drug, they didn't feel like drinking, they're like, yay, and then got off the drug, went back. Those
interesting.
that stayed off the whatever drug they were using did an awareness while they were not yearning for drinking or drugging, did also the whole awareness around why they're drinking and why they're drugging and all that. And then they stayed off. So
Yes.
that's to show that there's a physical aspect and there's a huge social
huge
aspect.
social and mental, the psychological piece of it. But I said to someone the other day that when you feel good in your body, however you've gotten to the place of feeling good, there's such power in that. There's such grounding contentment in feeling good. Just feeling
Right.
when you wake up in the morning and you feel good, or you look in the mirror and you look at yourself and you're like, oh, I like how I look right now.
Right.
It's all of these things are connected and fuel your desire to keep these things this way in your life. And if you can identify the things that took you back, it helps you stay away from them. But I wrote down the names of these things that that they're still researching. Yes, GLP-1, and that the research is showing, it's new, that it reduces cravings, which is exactly what you're talking about.
Because they acts on your brain.
Yeah.
The one thing to go back to those Gen Z and millennials, but mainly Gen Zs, because they're basically were born with technology. The concern I have is that, we're celebrating feeling good about ourselves and all that, and we had to shed a lot of the dark influences of the 80s and 90s, I think. Anyways, I had to feel good about myself and also quit drinking, right? But I'm afraid that their dark influence is all that social media.
Oh,
You know what I'm saying? And that it will push them back to numbing, right?
Yeah.
Because it's like, it's in your face so much, like, ugh.
But actually, I read a study. No, I read an article. Gosh,
That
I really
says
need
what?
to write the articles down so that we can start pinning them in the podcast. Again, constantly learning. I read something that talked about how social media is part of the many factors that are impacting and reducing
Right.
alcohol intake for these generations.
Okay.
Do you know why?
Why?
because they care about so much how they look on social media.
That kind of sucks, though, right?
I mean, I guess, but if it's making you drink less,
Right.
But it's the idea of it's way cooler
Right.
to not look like shit on social media, wasted. And when I was reading this article, it made me think of, I have a box in my basement of physical photos that were taken during my heyday. So I'm talking mid 90s through mid 2000s.
Right.
And they're in these little yellow Kodak boxes.
Oh God, yes.
And I every now and again I look at this giant chest and I think someday I'm going to go through those, because every time I open one of them I'm like, there's 10 photos that are the fucking same. And so it's taking up so much space. I need to go through them, throw out, but I have found some where I'm like,
wasted.
Thank God social media didn't exist.
Oh my God.
That photo isn't on the internet.
Thank God, like, throwaway cameras didn't exist. And like, I'm talking when we're 16, 17, 18, like there was some crazy shit going on and there was no camera to record it. I'm like, I'm happy with that. I remember when we graduated, for us, it was like high school. For you guys, it's like grade 11 for us. And I went to my graduation party with my best friend Pierre, because that's what I did. And obviously I didn't have a gown because
You were above a gown.
I was above that. So I used my mom. My mom had gone in the 60s. She was a flower girl to someone's like wedding or one of those. So I got her dress. My mom's like barely 5 feet. I got it arranged for me. And that's what I wore. I was very retro. I was super cool. Very like Molly Ringwald.
You're still super
so cool. But anywho, my point is, like, I remember we ended up doing the party at a friend's house that lived down the street from me. All the parents were gone. My parents were gone. Their parents were gone. And we smoked weed till 4 or 5 in the morning and got wasted till 4 or 5 in the morning. And there was like at least 100 kids there. Nothing got broken because we knew how to handle our liquor. But my point is, like, where the fuck were these parents? Who the fuck knows? And
again,
that was
latchkey kid.
super normal.
Yes.
Thankfully, no camera. Can you imagine the kind of shit that would have, like, I'd be canceled.
Yeah.
I'd be canceled. I'm sure, like, I painted my face in a color I wasn't supposed to. I said shit I wasn't supposed to.
Yeah.
Me and all my buddies that were there at that
I know,
party,
but
right?
we didn't live in cancel culture then.
No.
So, you know, but there's definitely, so I have a funny aside. Was that what you would have called prom?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay,
Yes.
so we don't call it prom in Ireland either. It's called your debs.
Oh.
Because it's supposed to be your debutante.
Debutante,
But
got
it's
it.
like it's not. That sounds way too fancy, because
Yeah.
I've seen
It's a
like the
prom.
debutante balls in New York. It's
Yeah.
not that. It's when you graduate high school. And for me, so because I was telling you about how incredibly possessive, overly protective
dad.
my father was. So in my final year of school, which it's called 6th year in Ireland,
Right.
you're a senior, I was the school president.
Mm-hmm.
So I was not cool. And
Got it.
like really not. I was very goody two shoes. I mean, that is absolutely, and I loved it, and I
Right,
owned
that's
it.
your thing.
And I think I told you once about my friend who had her hair shaved on
Yes,
one side,
yes.
and had the big flap coming over, so
That
the
was
nuns
me.
didn't see the shaved
That was
side.
me.
But like, she was one of my closest
Right.
friends, so I had friends in every
Sphere.
different sphere. But I had my long red hair. I had pretty much looked exactly like I look right now. But I was the head girl, is what you're called, the
Right.
head girl. And I was the head girl of our school. So I organized our prom, excuse me. And I was dating a boy at the time that I wasn't allowed to be dating, because my
Oh.
dad said I wasn't allowed to be dating him.
Right.
Not because he was bad. It's just my dad wouldn't have approved of
Anybody.
So I organized the whole thing, and I said, I stood up to my father and I said, I'm taking Brendan, was his name. I'm taking Brendan to the prom. He was so sweet and lovely, and we had the most innocent relationship. Anyway, long story short, stood up to my dad, said, I'm going to the prom, going to my Debs with Brendan. And he said, you're not.
Oh.
And he said, you're not going.
Mhm.
If you go with him, you're not going.
Right.
Like, I'm just, so we totally had a face off. So I organized the whole thing,
Right.
and I refused to go as a point of principle. Like,
Wow.
I didn't go to my own prom, even though I was the president of my class.
Wow.
And just, and of course, shooting myself in the foot. My poor mother, my mother was this like caught in between my father and I, who both of us, so many similarities. Apart from drinking, actually, he introduced me to alcohol. I think I've told you his famous phrase was wine should always be two things. Red and French. And end of
That's
sentence.
funny, right.
But he was one of those incredible humans that first of all, he was huge. He was 6'2",
Yeah.
and but I never saw him drunk ever.
Right.
It was not. He just didn't. It wasn't his thing.
No.
He
Like
could
he
drink
like me.
He
Like,
loved gin and tonics. He
right.
loved red wine. He did all of those things. My parents threw epic
he
parties.
could hold it down.
But he could hold it down.
Yeah.
Like you never, ever saw this man drunk. But so that's my prom story. And I'm so glad that we didn't have photos, but I'm sad that I missed it.
But like my prom, the ending of it, so yours ended that you didn't go. Mine ended that in a very Gen X fashion. So as I said, all our parents were at their chalets or whatever. So I got home at like 4 a.m. My parents weren't home. My parents didn't even see me to my prom because I had a golf tournament. That's so Gen X. Like nowadays, right?
Yeah.
If you got to your prom, the parents are there, there are
Pictures and,
no, they were having a golf tournament. I dressed myself. It's not like I was special. A lot of my other friends are the same way. My buddy Pierre, who's my date, my best friend, his sister drove us in her beat up golf Volkswagen. And that's it, right? My mom was like, send me photos. But the next day they came home. And so I got home at 4 a.m. I went to bed, like obviously like hungover, drunk, whichever. My friend Pierre, who was his family were very, 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 very well off in a very, very big way. And they were also absentees because that's what they did. Came over my house after I'd fallen asleep for an hour, rings the doorbell. I'm like, fuck. I go downstairs, it's fucking Pierre. I'm like, Pierre. He's like, I don't have anything to eat. Can I come here and eat something? I'm like, there's toast and peanut butter. I'm going back to bed. He was my neighbor also. He was like a fixture in our house, right? Yeah. So I go back to bed, right? Pass out as Pierre was fixing himself breakfast downstairs. My dad loved Pierre because Pierre was like a good kid, but he had a little twinkle in his eyes, I have funny stories about Pierre. Anywho, so I pass out in my bed, and a couple of hours later, my door opens and it's my dad, and he's like, what the fuck is he doing here? And there's Pierre in bed with me, but on top of the covers with his boots sticking out because he didn't want to, and he's like sound asleep. So Pierre had pat, and I was like, holy shit, I didn't even know. So that this is to show you all like, and Pierre told my dad, I'm technically not sleeping with her. I have all my clothes on. So that was is like, oh sir, how are you doing?
So if my dad walked into a room in that situation,
you'd be dead.
The boy would be dead.
The boy
for
would be
sure.
dead.
My dad
My
would have
dad
been
knew
in jail.
Pierre very well.
Yeah.
Pierre had like stood up. I remember the first time my parents. So I would stay home a lot, alone all the time on the weekends. That was fine, but no boys. And I wouldn't lie. I was a rebel kid, but I would not lie to my parents. If I said, okay, fine, there won't be boys, they would not be.
Okay.
If they came, we'd be on the stoop.
Yeah, you're a straight shooter. Yeah.
I was a straight shooter. So one day, Pierre and I were smoking cigarettes in my room, and we're playing backgammon, and my parents are going to go away to the lake house. And my dad comes upstairs like, Pierre's got to go. We're about to leave. So Pierre's like, what's going on? I'm like, my dad doesn't want boys in the house. He's like, I'm Pierre. I'm like, he thinks you're still a boy, right? So Pierre goes downstairs, goes to my father, and famously said to him, Mr. Laurier, what's your problem? And my dad was like, excuse me? He's like, what's your problem? I'm your daughter's best friend. What do you think we're going to do? He's like, you don't trust me? You've known me for 6 years. I find this offensive, he said to him.
Good for Pierre.
So my father admired this so much. He's like, Pierre, you can stay. So Pierre came back upstairs, and we were playing backgammon. So my dad opens the door to say goodbye, and Pierre jumps on me and pretends that we're French kissing. We're a little asshole. So from that moment on, my dad loved Pierre. He could do no wrong. So that was the prom drunken Gen X, very Gen X story.
But so that is the thing that social media is changing for that generation is they don't want to be photographed wasted. They don't want to be videoed wasted. And it's the perception of how you look. Oh my gosh, I learned this this term the other day called a day cap. Took me a minute.
What's a day cap?
Yeah, it took me a minute. Guess what it is.
A nightcap is a cocktail before you go to bed. So day cap is...
This term now is, instead of having a nightcap because you're thinking about your wellness, you want to be sleeping, you don't want to, but you still want the fun and the excitement of it, is that you're doing the stuff earlier in the day.
Oh my God, I love that. You know how much I love to go to bed at 8:30?
Don't you love this? And it was Pink that I saw on social media saying...
I don't know.
No, I don't think she is.
She looks like the type who would be.
Who
she
would
probably
be. No,
doesn't
I don't think
abuse
she
it.
is. But I could be wrong about that.
Yeah,
but she was talking about, you know who is sober? Again, my brain is all over the place. Jamie Lee Curtis.
I knew that.
Actress Jamie Lee Curtis. And she was talking about how she was requesting, could rock bands who we love,
yes,
you know, the Pinks and the U2s of this world, could we have a fucking concert at 5 o'clock? And
she likes famously to go to bed early. Yes. Amen to that.
And there was so many people had weighed in and said, absolutely, I would buy tickets to that. I was in New York a couple of weeks ago or a couple of months ago, and I was walking through Times Square on my way to a meeting, and I looked up, and I think it was the Sony Center or somewhere, where Jim Gaffigan, who's one of my favorite comedians, also sober.
Oh.
I believe, don't quote me on that, but I'm pretty sure he is, because he made that whole joke about why people look at you so weird when you say you're not drinking. He was like, what if I said I don't want mayonnaise? Would you react the same way?
Right.
He's one of my favorite clean comics. I just love him. I love him so much. Anyway, I'm walking by. What time was his set? 5 o'clock.
Love it. That's another thing about Gen X. You might not identify to that because of your upbringing of your dad.
Yes.
But I remember, so even though in Montreal, the legal age for clubs was 18, listen, this was the 80s and 90s. Like, as long as like you looked the part and you were cute, you're in. That's it, no questions asked. And there was this famous club, and my best friend Julie, who I'm still friends with, we would hang out, a bunch of us there, called the Bourbon Street. And if you showed up there before 11 at night, you're a fucking asshole. And so I remember like smoking a whole pack of cigarettes, watching stupid TV just to kill time.
Oh my gosh, until you could go to the club.
So you could go to the club at 11. What the fuck who made these stupid ass rules?
Oh my gosh, but now you have just brought me back to, so I didn't drink, as you know, until I was 20. So all of those teenage years, I wasn't even drinking.
Right.
Like I had a car. My dad got me a car, and you know, that was part of the rules of not drinking. And I had a job where I worked to pay for the gas and the insurance of the car, the petrol. And I used to drive my friends around, and I am just having, oh gosh, if there's anybody who's Irish who listens to this, not just Irish, specifically from Cork, there was a club called Sir Henry's.
Okay. I like the name.
And same thing. You didn't go until 11 o'clock, maybe 11:30,
yes,
because if you went at 11, you were the first people there. And nobody wanted to do that.
No.
And but it was great because I used to work in a bar, and bars would close at 11 and clubs open at 11.
So at least you were busy.
Had that. So I was working, and then I would meet up with my friends, and we would go to this club. We would go to Sir Henry's, and it was in the height of EDM. Like it was electronic dance music. That's what that club was. And I, you know, when I think back about if only I had never drank.
Yeah.
Because I had that whole era of my life where most people from the age of 15 to 20 are drinking like crazy because they're exploring for the first time. I was completely alcohol free for that period of my life, that transformative years of going through teens and early adolescence. And I had the greatest time. Like I had
Interesting.
proven to
Right.
myself before I knew I needed to prove to myself that I did not need alcohol to have a good time.
Right.
I would be in the nightclub. I would be the last person leaving the dance floor,
Right.
partying my ass off, completely stone
Sober.
cold sober. No
Wow.
ecstasy, no alcohol, none of it. When everyone else around me was doing that, I didn't need it. I didn't need
It's
it.
so funny you'd say that because I never partook to the drug scene. In the 80s, it was coke, and the 90s, it was ecstasy.
Yeah.
All my friends were dabbling. And by the way, I also didn't drink that. I smoked like a fiend. I smoked like cigarettes like a fiend in those days, but I didn't drink that much. I would like sip my 1, 2 cocktails. I started drinking a lot in my late 20s when I hit New York. When I quit smoking, then it doubled. And then
Yes.
the more you do it to yourself, the more addicted you get. Anyways, I
Yes.
did. But interesting that you'd say that because in those days, I mean, I was smoking a lot of cigarettes. I was dabbling in a little pot and I was dabbling in alcohol, but I wasn't doing it
On the regular.
like I
Yeah.
was doing it in my
Yeah.
late 20s, 30s, and 40s, right? And I was having fun. You're right. You're right. And it's funny because my sister just had her 50th birthday party. And, you know, now that's over a year and a half, almost 2 years, I haven't drank. I remember going home and realizing that I didn't even realize that I wasn't drinking. Like I
Yes.
didn't even realize that I
Yes.
wasn't drinking. Like I
It
didn't.
didn't even
It
factor
didn't even
in.
factor in.
Yeah.
Like the only reason that I left early, and it's funny because I left early. You know, party started at 7. I left by 10. I was with my mother. She was staying with us. We had rented a suite, whatever, and she looked tired. And B, there was great music, but that's the music that I grew up sitting around getting high, like rock and roll.
Yes.
We didn't dance to that.
Oh, yes.
Do you know what I'm
Right,
saying? Like
right,
I
right.
don't dance to rock and roll. I can't even name it.
No,
I mean,
no.
escape it, but you know what I mean? Like that,
Yeah.
like classic rock. Like,
yeah.
okay, for instance, David Bowie is my god.
Yep.
So this band did a great rendition of Heroes. Great. I'm not going to dance to that. You know,
Right. Yeah.
this is in our heads. We sat around, we smoked pot, and we listened to that music. So it was music like that, so that I'm not, and because these people are younger than me, that we wouldn't dance to. So since I wasn't dancing, my mom was tired. You know, we left at 10, and I remember getting to the hotel and second guessing me. Did I leave early because I didn't drink?
Oh, you were second
I
guessing
was
yourself.
second guessing myself. And then I was like, Brooks was like, what? He's like, no, it's 10 o'clock and you weren't dancing. If I dance, I can dance till 3 in the morning. But if I'm not dancing, then eventually I fade out, and my mother was fading out. But I was second guessing myself. Again,
Interesting.
and it's like that, it's that whole social.
And were you thinking how your leaving was perceived by other
Yes.
people? Okay.
Yes. Like, oh, yes. I was like, you know, does everybody think I left because I was
'Cause I don't
bored,
drink
because I'm
anymore.
not drinking? And all it was is that my mother is of a certain age, and she was like in sweats because she was dancing and all she's tired. And also, as I said, it's like great music, but not the kind that I like to dance to. So therefore, after a while, you know,
Yeah.
you've talked to everybody, your mother's tired, blah, blah, blah. Right?
There's so many things. There's so many things to unpack there, as a
Yes.
therapist would say. I'm feeling so American right now. We need to unpack this,
Unpack.
Isabelle. But it is true. But I think there's a number of things at play,
Right.
right? And I don't think you and I factor this in often enough. We're at a different age in our fucking lives.
That's true.
Right? It's like, remember, oh yeah, I do remember that I was doing, you know, cocaine at 2 o'clock in the
Yes.
morning. And I was also 28.
That's right.
My body could do those things and be pretty okay the next day.
Yeah, I think there's a part, and I think that comes with maybe being childless, and also I think our generation as well of 50 something that are super healthy and very young for their age, and we're
Yes.
the first generation like
Yes.
that. Our
Yes.
mothers at 50 were not in our
No.
shape at all.
Mm-mm.
So I think we just forget that we're 54.
That we're 100%.
That even though we're really
Yep.
in great shape for our age, we still have 54 years of wear and tear, and also of, well, I've been there, done that. This is a little less excited
I'm
than it was
sorry.
the first 30 years.
I call that fucking wisdom.
Right.
Do you know
maybe.
what I mean? Well,
Yeah.
we've been through, I feel like we can't have an episode where I don't reference my amazing mother-in-law, but
I
I
love
was
hearing about
talking to,
Marge.
I was talking to her about this feeling I have
Mm-hmm.
and she had said, it's your 50s.
Right.
Because I said to her, I was like, I feel like I have complete control of what I want out of life, or at least a control has a negative connotation to it, right?
Uh-huh.
I have an understanding.
Right.
I know who I am. I know who I want to be surrounded by.
Right.
I know what I want to do in my personal life. I know what I want to do and have yet to do in my career, which is bubbling with so much fantasticness at the moment. And looking at, you weren't thinking that when you were in your 50s, one generation ago.
No. And also, I think as you're speaking about that and the unpacking, I think the self-doubt and the second guessing, for me anyway, comes more when and I think a lot of people may relate to that in a family setting when there's family
Yeah,
members
yes. Or
involved.
people you're really close
You're
to.
much geographically further away from your family.
Yes.
They're different. They're an ocean away.
Yeah.
Mine are not, and I see them a lot, and I love them. And I think, we have both shared that Catholic upbringing, which is very family centric.
Yep.
Right. So I'm a product of that. And I think that's the only situations where this bubbles up. And I think a lot of the people that listen to that may relate.
I
right?
agree. I agree.
Yeah.
We have a number of friends who we've touched on this subject with, and family, it doesn't matter if it's alcohol or any other subject.
That's
it's
it.
where it is most sensitive.
Doesn't matter what
it is
subject.
where, because these are the people you are most connected to.
Yes.
These are the people who know how to push your buttons. These are the people who you care about.
And you want them to think I know that I still, all the things you said, and I also feel like you want them to think you're the best and amazing and wonderful.
Yes.
You don't want to disappoint ever, right? So it's the only time I find myself that alcohol is something that comes back to the surface is within a family setting. They're not doing anything. It's not them.
No.
It's me.
No, it's
right?
you.
But,
and that, I feel like that will continue to dissipate over time.
Probably,
and,
right?
And a perfect way for us to wrap up this episode, I also think as the world evolves and the world's perception, society's perception, I mean, we could do an entire, another episode just on how society is changing. We keep talking about the non-alcoholic world and all of these amazing women-led alcohol-free brands. They are on an astronomical rise in growth.
Yes.
And even big alcohol is now waking up. I mean, look at all of the biggest brands that are saying, okay, we've got to join the alcohol-free party. It's not going away.
No.
It's going to continue to grow. There's going to be more equality wherever we go in terms of alcohol not being the default for everybody. That is the change in the world that is coming. There's no way, and all of the people who want to be like, oh, you're not taking my wine from me or my, no, nobody wants to take it away from you.
Nobody's taking anything away.
You drink all the hell you want.
Right.
What we're saying is the rise of people who don't want that substance, who don't want that to be the center of every event, are on the rise, and we're not going anywhere.
Right.
So, and also, by the way, at any moment, we're family now.
That is right.
At any moment that you need to be reminded of your epic fabulousness, you know who to call.
Oh my God, you're the best.
I mean, you just text me at fucking 5 a.m. and be like, "Hey,
this is like
are you awake?
therapy.
I need a little pick me up."
That's right. This is
you
therapy.
know I am there for you.
You're the best. This is the best therapy ever.
It is the best therapy.
It is.
It is.
Last on that, I once had a therapist years ago when I was single, and I told Brooks that she used to fall asleep. Did I tell you that?
You did tell us this. You're
so
like,
Brooks,
oh my God.
Brooks the other day, that came up again. And I was like, remember my therapist used to fall asleep? He's like, that's almost like a good sign.
Nothing is too traumatic
Nothing's
coming
too
out
bad,
of you.
right?
I mean, can you ever imagine a situation where one of us falls asleep on the other person? Except when drunk.
Oh my God, yes.
I mean, definitely I found myself nodding off in certain situations, okay, last funny story. I had a friend, my really good friend in law school. She and her then husband, we partied a lot together. And this was when I was still living in London. And we would have these epic parties at her house. She was Pakistani, and they made this. I mean, she used to make food that, I mean, salivating
delicious.
now just thinking about it. I mean, her mother's great grandmother's recipes with like 7,000 ingredients. And her husband was a great chef, and they cooked together, and we all went to law school together. But it just reached a point where, and she was just so fabulous, and she would just look over, and he would be flat out sleeping.
Oh no.
At the dinner table. Propped up a little bit, but like asleep. And I would just be like, what? And she was like, oh, he's sleeping. I don't fucking care. I mean, they did, of course, divorce. But and he wouldn't lie down. He wouldn't do anything. He would just be sitting on the chair like this.
Oh, that's hysterical.
Fast asleep. And we would be on our third or fourth bottle of wine at this point. And, working your asses off right out of grad school, and then cooking a dinner. And we'd be eating dinner at 9:00 at night.
Oh,
and by midnight, he's fast asleep at the table. And she would just be like, oh, just let him fucking sleep.
I love the imitations. One podcast you have to put down. I'm a sucker for imitations and accents. You have to write down all the little snippets you can do for me.
Oh
and just
my
do
gosh.
it all one in a podcast. I'm just sit back with pretty and listen.
You know what? How about one podcast? I just do the whole podcast in different accents.
Oh, can I say one last funny thing that happened? Nothing to do with booze. And if it's politically incorrect, I don't care. So
glad it's at the end of the podcast, so we can maybe
Brooks
edit it out if we need to.
Very good Indian friends they're high net worth individual that he does business with, and they live in London and India, and so they're very, very lovely. And I don't know if for those who listen to us, but usually, I mean, in my experience, Indian people move their head a lot when they talk, right?
Yes,
like, no, this is not possible, right?
Well, it's like Italianos, they use their hands, and Irish people use fuck as a comma.
They move their head.
Yes.
And so they're on a Zoom call with Brooks, and they call Brooks Mr. Brooks. And one of them goes, Mr. Brooks, I believe your screen is frozen because your head is not moving.
And Brooks was like, I'm actually just stationary. Okay.
That is so funny. So they were convinced he was frozen because his head wasn't moving.
Well, I mean, and you and I mean, we are the most animated talkers.
God,
I mean, our poor editors, both video and audio, have such a hard time because we're close to the mic, we're far from the mic, we're moving our heads, we're in and out of the different shots. Brooks bought
me a t-shirt, and it's an octopus knitting, because I call myself the octopus because I have skinny limbs and I'm always like flapping all over the map.
Okay, well, I just want to say I love us.
Yes.
Okay, that's a wrap on episode 18. Thank you so much for listening. Please, my call to action is always tell us what you think. Constructive criticism, no hate. Haters scroll on by. Follow us. We're on all the channels, and we're really building a little following on Instagram as our main platform. So watch us on there, because our incredible colleague Priscilla clips all of these into 60-second sound bites. And share. And send us your questions, because we need to do another Q&A soon.
That's my favorite.
Thank you for listening. One more shout out.
Saint Viviana, yum, my go-to. And happy summer, everybody.
Happy summer.
Beginning of summer.
See you on the next episode. I'm Maxine. I'm happy alcohol free.
I'm Isabelle, and I'm happy as fuck.
Mwah.
I wanna be